Hello children, I hope you all are doing great. The chapter that we would start today is from your Moments textbook and it is a very interesting chapter. We all love to keep pets, right? And whenever we think of pet animals, we only think of dogs or cats or maybe some birds. But do we ever consider keeping a wild animal as our pet? No, right? The lesson that we would begin today is about a wild animal and his adventures in a human habitat. The name of the chapter is The Adventures of Toto. Who is a Toto? Toto is a wild monkey. The name of the author is Ruskin Bond. Now before we proceed with the chapter, let me just give you a brief description about the author Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is an eminent Indian author of British descent. He is considered to be an icon among Indian writers and children's authors. He was born on 19th May 1934 in Kasauli. Being a writer for over 50 years, he experimented with different genres like fictions, novels, short stories, autobiographies, books for children, etc. He wrote his first novel, The Room on the Roof, when he was just 17 years old. This novel received the John Llewellyn Rhys Memorial Prize in 1957. Since then, he has written over 500 short stories, essays and novels, and over 40 books for children. He won many prestigious awards like the Sahitya Academy Award in 1992, the Padma Shri in 1999, the Padma Bhushan in 2014. He also received the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2012 by the Delhi government. Some of his notable works are The Blue Umbrella, The Night Train at Deoli, The Cherry Tree, Rusty the Boy from the Hills, Delhi is Not Far, Roads to Mussoorie, and many more. Now before we move on to the line-by-line explanation of the chapter, let me just give you a brief synopsis of what the chapter is all about. The story begins with the narrator's grandfather buying a monkey from a Tonga driver for ₹5. The monkey's name was Toto. He was a very mischievous monkey. He did not allow other animals to sleep peacefully and always disturbed him. One day, when grandfather leaves for Saharanpur to collect his pension, he takes Toto with him in a big canvas bag. When the ticket collector finds Toto grinning at him, he demands a fine from grandfather. After some day, Toto gets shifted to a stable where he disturbs Nana the donkey. One day, Toto nearly boiled himself when he sat in a kettle. He continued with his mischief and thus finally grandfather decides to sell Toto back to the Tonga driver. Now let us begin with the line-by-line explanation of the chapter The Adventures of Toto. Grandfather bought Toto from a Tonga driver for the sum of ₹5. The Tonga driver used to keep the little red monkey tied to a feeding trough, and the monkey looked so out of place there that grandfather decided he would add the little fellow to his private zoo. So, in the narrator tells us that the narrator's grandfather purchased the little red monkey from a Tonga driver by paying him ₹5 for a sum of ₹5. He even tells us that the Tonga driver kept the little red monkey tied to a feeding trough. Now what is a feeding trough? A feeding trough is a container for feeding animals. So he was tied there and grandfather thought that he was not fit for that place and he desired to add Toto to the collection of animals which he had in his zoo at home, which was his private zoo. Toto was a pretty monkey. His bright eyes sparkled with mischief beneath deep-set eyebrows, and his teeth, which were a pearly white, were very often displayed in a smile that frightened the life out of elderly Anglo-Indian ladies. But his hands looked dried up as though they had been pickled in the sun for many years. So now the narrator gives us the description of Toto. He tells us that he had bright shiny eyes, and his eyes were full of mischief. His eyebrows were deeply set on his face, and his teeth were like pearls. He had pearl white teeth. Many Anglo-Indian ladies got scared when he laughed or smiled at them. The narrator also tells us that Toto's hands were dry and wrinkled, as if they had been dried in the sun like pickled vegetables. Pickled vegetables means the vegetables that we use to make pickle at home. Yet his fingers were quick and wicked, but his fingers were very quick. That means his fingers were very swift, and his tail, while adding to his good looks, grandfather believed a tail would add to anyone's good looks, also served as a third hand. He could use it to hang from a branch, and it was capable of scooping up any delicacy that might be out of reach of his hand. He tells us that, he had bright sparkling eyes, he had pearl white teeth, he had deep set eyebrows. With that, he had a long tail, and the writer's grandfather or the narrator's grandfather thought that, the tail added to Toto's good look. Okay? Toto's tail added like his third hand. Okay? It acted like his third hand. It helped him to hang from a branch of a tree, and it also helped him to scoop, or that means to lift up any object or anything, any food that might be out of reach of his hands, which were beyond his hands' reach. Grandmother always fussed when grandfather brought home some new bird or animal. So it was decided that Toto's presence should be kept a secret from her until she was in a particularly good mood. So now the narrator tells us that, grandmother always fussed, or she always got angry when grandfather bought new pets, that is birds or animals, at home. So they decided that, they will keep Toto's presence in the house a secret. They would conceal the fact from her. And when they will tell her, they will see that when she is in a good mood, then only they will tell her everything about Toto. They will disclose everything about Toto to her. Grandfather and I put him away in a little closet opening into my bedroom wall, where he was tied securely, or so we thought, to a peg fastened into the wall. So where did they keep Toto? They kept Toto in a little closet. Closet means into a little cupboard in the storeroom maybe. And they thought that, Toto was secured there. He was safe there, and he won't be able to escape from that place. And where was he tied to? He was tied to a peg. What is a peg? A peg is a small piece of iron or wood in a wall for hanging things. So they tied him to a hook or a peg in the wall. A few hours later, when grandfather and I came back to release Toto, we found that the walls, which had been covered with some ornamental paper chosen by grandfather, now stood out as naked brick and plaster. The peg in the wall, which had been wrenched from its socket, and my school blazer, which had been hanging there, was in shreds. So, after few hours, when they came to see Toto, that whether he's fine or not, they found that the peg which was fastened into the wall was not there, and the wall which was covered with ornamental paper had completely come out. All they could see was a naked wall of brick and plaster. The peg which was fastened into the wall had been wrenched out. Wrenched means to take something out with force. It was taken out. So Toto applied force and freed himself from being attached to a peg. And the school blazer, that is the narrator's school blazer, which was hanging, was in shreds. Shreds means was in pieces. I wondered what grandmother would say. And that moment, he just thought what grandmother would say when she will find out about Toto. But grandfather didn't worry. He seemed pleased with Toto's presence. Although the ornamental paper which was attached to the wall had come out, the narrator's blazer was in pieces, grandfather didn't worry. He was pleased with Toto's performance. He was happy with what Toto had done. "He's clever," said grandfather. "Given time, I'm sure he would have tied the torn pieces of your blazer into a rope and made his escape from the window." So, the narrator thought Toto to be very clever monkey, to be a very clever animal. He said that, if they would have given him some time, he would have surely attached all the torn pieces of the narrator's blazer, and he would have made it into a rope, and he would have used that rope to escape himself, to free himself from this confinement. His presence in the house still a secret. Toto was now transferred to a big cage in the servants' quarter, where a number of grandfather's pets lived very sociably together. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, and for a while my pet goat. So after some days, Toto was shifted to a big cage in the servants' quarter. And there he did not live alone. He lived with other animals, that is, a tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel. Tamed squirrel means a pet squirrel, and the narrator's pet goat. But the monkey wouldn't allow any of his companions to sleep at night. So grandfather, who had to leave Dehradun next day to collect his pension in Saharanpur, decided to take him along. So the narrator tells us about Toto's notorious behavior. He tells us that, when he was shifted to a bigger cage in the servants' quarter, there he lived with other animals, but he did not allow any of the companions, any of the other animals to sleep at night. He used to disturb them, and so grandfather thought that he would take him to Saharanpur along with him to collect his pension. Now, what is a pension? It is an amount of money which a person gets after his retirement from work. Okay, so to collect his pension, he had to go to Saharanpur, but he knows that what kind of animal or what kind of pet is Toto, so he didn't want him to be here, so he thought of taking him along with him to Saharanpur. Unfortunately, I could not accompany grandfather on that trip, but he told me about it afterwards. The narrator couldn't accompany his grandfather on that trip, okay, but his grandfather gave him a detailed account of everything that had happened in that trip. A big canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. This, with some straws at the bottom, became his new abode. So a big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto, and first, some straws were kept, and on top of that straws, Toto was placed in the bag, and it became his new abode, means new home. When the bag was closed, there was no escape. Toto could not get his hands through the opening, and the canvas was too strong for him to bite his way through. His efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor and occasionally jump into the air, an exhibition that attracted a curious crowd of onlookers on the Dehradun railway platform. So now the narrator tells us that the bag had a zipper on top of it. It had a zip on top of it, and the narrator's grandfather assured that the bag was closed properly so that Toto could not escape or could not come out of that bag. So, but Toto is Toto. He will not wait for anybody to take him out. He tried his level best to come out of the bag, and he kept on moving inside the bag, and due to this, many a times the bag would roll on the floor, or it would simply jump in the air. These movements, the movements of the bag, were noticed by the other people who were there on the railway platform, and this made them curious that what was inside the bag. Okay, Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur, but while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. Now, when Toto, he travelled peacefully till Saharanpur. Okay, he couldn't come out of the bag. But when grandfather was producing his tickets at the railway turnstile, now what is a railway turnstile? It is a it is a gate kind of a thing. It is a mechanical gate and it consists of revolving horizontal arms, okay, and these are, you can find these turnstiles basically, you know, at the entrance or the exit of railway stations. So when he was producing his ticket near the railway turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag. That means he took out his head out of the bag and he looked at the ticket collector with a grin. Grin means showing his teeth. The poor man was taken aback. Now suddenly, all of a sudden, when you know, when a wild animal will pop out from a bag and will show you his teeth, what will happen? You'll feel frightened. You'll feel frightened. In the same way, the poor man, the ticket collector, he got frightened. He got shocked. He got astonished. But with great presence of mind and much to grandfather's annoyance, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you. You'll have to pay for it accordingly." The ticket collector thought that Toto was a dog. Okay, and since grandfather had travelled with Toto, that's why he had to pay a fine for it. In vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag. In vain did he try to prove that a monkey did not qualify as a dog or even as a quadruped. Toto was classified a dog by the ticket collector, and 3 rupees was the sum handed over as his fare. So, grandfather tried to explain the ticket collector that Toto is not a dog, he is a monkey, but the ticket collector was not at all convinced. He said that, you know, he is a dog and that's why he have to pay a sum of a sum of 3 rupees as his fare, as Toto's fare. Then grandfather, just to get his own back, took from his pocket our pet tortoise and said, "What must I pay for this, since you charge for all animals?" So now we get to know that, you know, grandfather was not traveling with Toto alone. He had his tortoise with him. So Toto was not alone. His pet tortoise was also with grandfather. And he takes out his pet tortoise and he shows it to the ticket collector and he tells that, you know, what should I pay for this now, since you charge for all animals? The ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise, prodded it with his forefinger, gave grandfather a pleasing and triumphant look and said, "No charge, it's not a dog." So, what did the ticket collector do? The ticket collector looked at the tortoise, he poked it with his forefingers, and then he gave a happy and victorious smile to, or a look to grandfather, and he said, "No charge, sir, it's not a dog. So we only charge for dogs. We don't charge for any other animals." When Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable, where he had for a companion the family donkey Nana. So after he was accepted by grandmother, his presence in the house was accepted by grandmother. He was shifted to a comfortable home in the stable, and there also he did not live alone. He lived with Nana, the family donkey. On Toto's first night in the stable, grandfather paid him a visit to see if he was comfortable. So grandfather thought that maybe, since this is his first night in the stable, he should go and, check him once, whether he's comfortable there or not. To his surprise, he found Nana without apparent cause pulling at her halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible from a bundle of hay. So when he went there to find if everything was fine with Toto or not, he saw that, Nana was restless. He was pulling his rope in order to stay away from a heap of hay, from a bundle of hay. Grandfather gave Nana a slap across her haunches, and she jerked back, dragging Toto with her. He had fastened onto her long ears with his sharp little teeth. Grandfather, he did not even think that Toto will disturb Nana, the donkey. Okay, so unknowingly he hit Nana, he slapped Nana across her haunches. Haunches is, what are haunches? Haunches are, the back part of the body. So grandfather slapped Nana across her haunches, and Nana jumped back with a jerk. And Toto was also dragged along with her because he was holding on to her long ears with his sharp little teeth. Toto and Nana never became friends. After this incident, they did not gel well. They were not friends anymore. Neither they were friends before, but they did not try to be friends anymore. A great treat for Toto during cold winter evenings was the large bowl of warm water given him by grandmother for his bath. He would cunningly test the temperature with his hand, then gradually step into the bath, first one foot, then the other, as he had seen me doing, until he was into the water up to his neck. So now the narrator tells us that, during winter, Toto used to enjoy himself a lot. Why? Because that time he was given a bowl of warm water for his bath. And what he used to do before, getting inside the water, he used to first test the temperature of the water with his hand. And he has seen the narrator doing this. So he imitated the narrator. First he used to check the temperature of the water, and then he used to put his first foot inside the water, then the other foot, and then he put his body inside the bowl until till his neck. Not until, till his neck. Once comfortable, he would take the soap in his hands or feet and rub himself all over. And once he felt that the water is very comfortable, he would take, some soap and he would rub all over his hand and feet. He would rub it all over his body. When the water became cold, he would get out and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. And then, when he would realize that the water is turning cold now, he would quickly come out of the water and he would run towards the kitchen fire in order to dry himself up. If anyone laughed at him during this performance, Toto's feeling would be hurt and he would refuse to go on with his bath. And if anybody made fun of Toto when he's taking bath, or he's rushing towards the kitchen to dry himself up, if anybody laughed at him, his feelings would be hurt and he would refuse to take bath. One day, Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. A large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, he got in with his head sticking out of the open kettle. This was just fine for a while, until the water began to boil. Then Toto then raised himself a little, but finding it cold outside, sat down again. He continued hopping up and down for some time, until grandmother arrived and hauled him half-boiled out of the kettle. Now, the narrator gives us an example of an incident, where he literally boiled himself. One day, a large kettle was kept on stove for boiling tea. Okay? Toto climbed up to the stove and removed the lid from it. He felt that the water was warm enough for him to take a bath, and he entered into the kettle. His head was only out of it. When the water started boiling, he started feeling hot and he wanted to come out of it. And when he was coming out, he was feeling cold. So again he was sitting inside the kettle. So this continued for some time, until and unless he found that the temperature of the water was becoming too hot for him. And it was then grandmother who arrived at the spot, and she took Toto out of the boiling kettle. And the narrator jokingly tells us that, she took half-boiled monkey out of the kettle. If there is a part of the brain specially devoted to mischief, that part was largely developed in Toto. He was always tearing things to pieces. Whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made every effort to get hold of her dress and tear a hole in it. So the narrator tells us that, if there is a part in our brain that governs our ability to create mischief, then that part is highly developed in Toto. He is a very notorious animal. He's always doing something or the other. He's tearing things into pieces. He's boiling himself up. He's disturbing other animals. So he's always doing something or the other to disturb people. The narrator gives us another example that whenever his aunts came near him, he would always make every effort to tear a hole in their dress. One day at lunchtime, a large dish of pulao stood in the center of the dining table. We entered the room to find Toto stuffing himself with the rice. And when they entered one day, grandmother, maybe she cooked pulao for lunch, and when they all entered the dining table, they saw Toto stuffing himself with rice. Stuffing means he was filling up his mouth with the pulao. My grandmother screamed and Toto threw a plate at her. And when grandmother screamed, when she protested, Toto threw a plate at her. One of my aunts rushed forward and received a glass of water in the face. And when one of the narrator's aunt went forward to take the plate from him, what did Toto do? Toto threw a glass of water in her face. When grandfather arrived, Toto picked up the dish of pulao and made his exit through a window. And when grandfather arrived in the dining room, Toto, out of fear, he took the plate of rice, of pulao, and he went outside through the window. He went away from the dining room. We found him in the branches of the jackfruit tree, the dish still in his arms. He remained there all afternoon, eating slowly through the rice, determined on finishing every grain. And then, in order to spite grandmother, who had screamed at him, he threw the dish down from the tree and chattered with delight when it broke into 100 pieces. What did he do? When they found him eating the pulao, sitting on a jackfruit tree, he finished the pulao first, and then, to irritate grandmother, to spite grandmother, because because she shouted at him, he threw the dish down from the tree. And when the dish broke into pieces, he chattered with delight. Chattered means it's a sound made by monkeys. So he started shouting in happiness, in delight. Obviously, Toto was not the sort of pet we could keep for long. Even grandfather realized that. So, grandfather realized that they cannot keep Toto as a pet. We were not well-to-do, they were not so rich, and could not afford the frequent loss of dishes, clothes, curtains and wallpapers, and they cannot bear the cost of losing dishes, clothes, curtains and wallpapers so frequently. So, grandfather found the Tonga driver and sold Toto back to him for only 3 rupees. So, grandfather found the Tonga driver from whom he bought Toto, and he sold Toto back to him only for 3 rupees. He bought him for 5 rupees and he sold him back to the Tonga driver for only 3 rupees. Now let us learn some new word meanings. Scooping up means picking up. First means made much noise. Wrenched means took out with force. Shreds means pieces. Canvas means a coarse cloth. Abode means place for living. exhibition means show, quadruped means walking on four legs, halter means a rope or strap or stopper, haunches mean back part of the body, spite means to insult, well-to-do means rich, lid means covering. So now let us justify the title of the story, The Adventures of Toto. The title of the story is appropriate as it completely revolves around the adventures of a monkey, Toto. Toto is the main protagonist of the story, and starting from removing the ornamental papers from the wall, to teasing Nana, to nearly boiling himself in the kettle, to throwing water at Aunt and also breaking the plate into pieces, the story is filled with numerous adventures of Toto, and thus we feel that the title of the story is appropriate. Now, what is the theme of the story? The story deals with the interaction of humans with animals, keeping a wild animal as a pet and training them to acquire the art of habitable living requires a lot of patience, and all they need is love and care, and it's better to keep them free in their own habitat instead of confining them in our comfortable homes. The story also exhibits the fact that animals also have the ability to think like humans. For example, we see Toto checking the temperature of water before taking bath in it. With this, we complete the chapter. Thank you for watching the video, children. Please stay home and stay safe. Thank you so much.